The following podcast is an enTICEing media production.
Where the Nell have you been? Join us for conversation about life, business, and everything in between. Welcome to What the Nell, where we've got stories to tell. Here's your host, Nell Tice.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to a brand new episode of the What the Nell podcast with yours truly, Nell Tice. And I'm super excited because I have, okay, hold on. Well, how do I explain this? Kelly Johnson is a very talented photographer. I'm counting on my fingers here if you're watching the video. Talented photographer, owner of Kelly Johnson Photography, host of Ask the Expert, the radio show on Sandcastle Radio, now business partner in the content strategy workshop, and friend, colleague, associate, confidant, however many terms you have for Kelly. Those are the terms that I have for Kelly. I hope that you will come to terms with some form of relationship with Kelly because she is an awesome person overall. So we are talking to Kelly today about all things photography, but content creating as well, because we have a new project coming up that we're excited to talk about. So Kelly, welcome to the What the Nell podcast.
Thank you so much, Nell. That was quite the intro, the welcome. So I'm humbled by those words. So thank you.
It's funny because I understand what it's like to do a lot of things. And
Yes.
Whenever I have a guest that does a lot of things, I want to make sure that I get them all. But I also, like, the most important part is knowing that whomever it is an awesome person, and that's why they're here. So that's like the all-encompassing thing.
Thank you. The feeling is mutual. The feeling is mutual.
Thank you. I appreciate that. And, we're doing something pretty cool today. You know what we're doing, right?
We are.
Yeah. We're creating content.
We are. I was like, I'm not sure what the right answer is.
What we're doing. No, we're doing, honestly, something, recording a podcast. There's so many things when I hear that people are recording a podcast, especially a video podcast, there's so many avenues or like spokes to the fork that
Sure.
you can use a podcast for. So, us getting together and doing this, there's a few things that we're doing. We're obviously, talking about our workshop and what we're doing and all the things about it, but we're also creating content, and then we're going to break that down, and how we use that we'll talk about then too. But when you are doing a podcast, what are some things that come to mind as far as content creation goes?
Well, I personally think about how it can be repurposed, right? Like how maybe not repurposed is the word, but how you can squeeze all the content out of it, right? Like think about like squeezing an orange, right? And you want to get all of that juice out of the orange for fresh squeezed orange juice, right? So delicious. That's what comes to my mind. Yeah, that's what comes to my mind when I'm thinking about a podcast, is that a podcast is kind of like the higher, the big piece of content, right? And out of that podcast, you can create little bits and pieces of it, like a videogram, an audiogram. You can take like what I like to call quotable quotes, like maybe there's like a line that somebody says. You can take that out and make that like a quote card or something like that. Yeah. You can turn it into a blog post or multiple blog posts. Yeah. I think that that's just the tip of the iceberg.
Oh yeah. And I think you hit something on the nail. You hit the nail on the head with something right there. It's so I'm like confusing my words, but so I think a lot of people get stuck in the fact that if you have a photo taken, for instance, like if you have a branding photo done, and like that's all it is a photo. Same thing with a video. That's all it is a video. So then you automatically have to, whatever content you create from that has to be a photo or has to be a video. But that's not true. There's so many things that you can do in turning those photos and videos into words. And I think that's
Right.
really important too, because we don't want to forget. I mean, we're visual creators, but we
Sure.
don't want to forget that those visuals can also be turned into words and blog posts and emails too.
Right. Right. And I think the struggle comes from people who think that they are not creative, right? Like they've
Mm,
kind of put themselves into that box and they're like, yeah, I'm not creative. So they're already setting themselves up to not think past like what's really in front of them
yeah.
and to not see the bigger picture that their content can be used for multiple things and not just once, but like again
Oh my
and
gosh. Yeah.
again, you
Yeah.
know?
Yeah. There's so many times. I think that we automatically think that because we've done something this week, that it's become outdated. And
Right.
it has to continuously be fresh and new all the time. And that's not the case. And I'll personally admit I fall into that trap even with our radio show because I assume that everyone's listening live every week, right? And
Mhm.
because that's what we want, that's what we're striving for. But that's not the case. People have lives. Obviously, they can't listen to your
Right.
shows all the time. But, there's no reason why if we did a show on August 23rd last year about packing, how to
Sure.
pack or packing hacks or something like that, that we couldn't do another one at some point on the same topic because
Right.
not the audience that was listening then isn't
Right.
necessarily the audience that is listening now.
Right. Right. Yeah. A few weeks ago, I actually shared like an inspirational quote. Like I like inspirational quotes. It's just I don't
Oh, they're
know. Like
great.
I like them. I like creating them. I like creating the original artwork behind them.
Mhm.
A few weeks ago I shared something about starting messy. Like that's kind of my mantra here over the last few years is starting messy. And it got some engagement. And then that first one was probably like a month or so ago. And then I reshared. Well, no, I didn't reshare. I like kind of recreated it. Like I just
Yeah.
changed up a couple of things,
Mhm.
changed up some copy, and I shared it like I posted it again.
Mhm.
And it got even like more engagement and different people saw it.
Yeah.
So I think that that's definitely a valid point is that when we create content we have to realize that there's just a small percentage of our audience that is seeing it in that moment
Yeah.
and that it's okay to share something again.
Yes. Oh my gosh, that's so poignant. And I think too, because we're so at the mercy of algorithms, right? So when we're
Mm-hmm.
thinking about social media, I know there's so many times where I'll look at a post in a group that we do and I'll be like, why did only 23 people see this?
Right.
Like there's a lot more people in a group. Why are only 23 people seeing this? And I'm thinking, so I don't have control over
No.
who sees the content. I have control to the extent of I can engage more, I can post more, I can maybe do some more vibrant graphics or something that's a little more eye-catching from a quality standpoint. But we're also at the mercy of the algorithm.
Yep.
So, it really is a testament to those 23 people that are seeing it today are not the same 23 people or hopefully more that will
Yeah.
see it the next time. But
Sure.
you're right. Reinventing the wheel is not necessary all the time. You can
Mm-hmm.
take a handful of photos and recreate, do the inspirational quotes,
Yep.
change things up on it to make it different, but still the same.
Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's pretty cool what we can all do. But speaking to that and what we can all do with content,
Yeah.
I mean, what is it exactly that we're doing here? And why, what are we teaching people? What are we doing? What is this thing? What is this content strategy workshop?
Content strategy workshop. Yeah. So it's the brainchild of us.
That's a scary thought.
I know, right? It happened because of multiple conversations. And, knowing that you being in the video world and me being in the photography world, our clients both struggle with the same thing. We help them create the content and have those assets, but then they don't know how to use it. And so then they don't. And then they get frustrated. And then, then it almost becomes like not necessarily your fault, right?
Right.
But it also shows me, and I don't want to speak for you now, but it shows me like where I have room to grow and that I don't have to be just a photographer.
Oh, yeah.
Like I want to be more than that. And I've really worked hard to position myself as that. I've tried to learn about social media platforms, all of them, different ways to create the content. So that's kind of how this happened.
Yeah.
Just us seeing the value in helping our clients more.
Yeah, I completely agree. And, I look at this as when we were putting together the website and wanted to put like small bios about each other on the website, I kept thinking, because I was trying to think of how to like headline that area on the website. And I was like, instructors, teachers, like what word do we use to describe ourselves? Because I almost feel like we're definitely on the same level as a lot of people that will come to the workshop. We're growing, we're learning,
Sure.
we're always pushing ourselves
Yeah.
to be better at content creation and in our careers. And I think it's just really cool that we're developing something that it's like we're bringing people on the journey with us.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, it is born out of having a lot of the same concerns within our clients. And
Mm-hmm.
I don't often think that photographers and videographers, and I don't even know if I would consider myself a videographer anymore. I would consider myself just like a video person.
A video
But
person.
yeah, I mean, we're trying to grow. And I think there's so many similarities, and that connection isn't utilized often enough in the creative
Or,
space.
yeah. I think that people sometimes see others, like other photographers see other photographers or other videographers or editors, see others as the competition.
Yes.
Where they might not, I mean, they might be,
Sure.
but there's also the opportunity for collaboration.
Oh my gosh. The podcast that I released the week before this comes out, the whole concept is a collaboration is what happens at the top,
Oh,
and
yeah.
competition is what happens at the bottom.
Yeah.
And I couldn't believe in that any more than I already do,
Mm-hmm.
because especially coming from an industry where it was so competitive that
Mm-hmm.
you had to watch every word you spoke, and everything that you did had to be so perfectly timed because you were afraid that somebody was going to steal a recipe or your idea
Yeah.
and put it out there
Yeah.
before you do, and all the
Right.
things. And you and I can do similar things, but we both know that people work with us because we are who we are.
Yep.
And there are different aspects to what we each do because we're not the same person.
Right.
And I think that comes into how we create content as well.
Mm-hmm. And I think that the authenticity
Mm-hmm.
is a big driving factor in our success.
Yep.
I mean, not like individual success, and, collaboratively.
Yeah.
That like we legitimately, is that the word I want to use? Like, I don't know. Like we really, truly care. We want to help other people. We want to see other people succeed.
Mm-hmm.
We want to see our clients have wins with what we are helping them with.
Yeah. I mean, I can envision somebody coming to the workshop and putting what we've guided them to into action, and then coming back and just saying, you know what? I didn't know this until I came to work with you guys.
Yeah.
And this worked. I got my content, even if it's just to the point where they're like, you know what? You helped me get this out there to the world.
Right. Even
And
like to get past the overwhelm.
Yeah, getting past a stage of overwhelm or fear or anything like that, and just having that happen and them being able to affect somebody else's life.
Yes. Woo!
I mean, like, that's the ultimate for a full circle moment.
Yeah, that will be an amazing win for sure.
Yeah. I'm
like,
so excited.
I will, like, when that happens, I'll probably cry. Right.
Oh yeah. Yeah. There are certain, I always tell people there are only certain reasons that I cry because I'm not a very like, and Kenny will tell you this. He's called me soulless on occasion, but I cry at weddings usually and anything work related. So that falls under the work related category. That's terrible. I don't even really know if I cry at funerals. I should probably think about some of my priorities in life. I know. I mean, it's something that when you're super passionate about it and you're
Yes.
seeing it come to life, that triggers an emotional
Right.
reaction.
Right. Because I think that we both know like how hard we have each individually worked to build our business. Like
Yeah.
at one point in time, enticing media did not exist in this world.
Yep.
Right. And at one time, Kelly Johnson photography did not exist in this world. We didn't like get a box delivered to our door and like, oh, here's your business, go ahead. Right. No, like we created it, our businesses respectively, out of nothing.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's one thing to say you built something like that and have it continuously work for you and being able to experience that and also pass along some of that knowledge and help other people in their own paths
Yep.
to be able to experience that same feeling
Yes.
is what's really cool.
Yeah.
So, all right. So the content strategy workshop
Yes.
in itself is on August 14th. I have literally just triggered my Alexa. She's speaking to me. See, there's
Alexa, sit.
just, she just made a noise. But I think you shut her up, so thank you. I appreciate that.
Hey, whatever works.
Exactly. But so the actual workshop itself is on August 14th at your studio
Yes.
in Mount Joy, PA, Pennsylvania.
Yep.
So can you tell us more about what people can expect when they come and like the setup we've got going on?
Yeah. Well, I mean, expect some fun.
Hello.
Some fun, maybe some shenanigans. I don't know.
Should have called this the shenanigans workshop.
We might have got a different crowd.
Might have been a little different. You're right.
So definitely some networking. That is one thing that we want people to connect with other people who they may not know. Maybe they're connected virtually and have never met in person. That's these days that's an option.
That's very real. Yeah.
Yes, that's real. So meeting in real life. So the networking, and then also, we are each going to be speaking and talking about, our different areas of expertise as far as, you'll be talking about video content. I'll be talking about photography content and how to use them.
Yeah.
I'm at a lots of words this morning. I'm not sure. I think I might need like a dictionary or something in front of me. Like use the content to the best of its ability, or like wring it out, squeeze it all out, something like that. Yeah.
Squeeze that OJ out.
Strategically. There we go. I just was like strategy. There we go. Strategically.
You see,
It's all right. It's all right here. People.
It's all right here. You better be watching the video because we have these really cool shirts that explain what the title of the workshop is. And, if depending on how successful we are with this, we might need to have some merch available.
Oh, yeah. I'm all about that.
Because I'll tell you what, I could live in this shirt. It's so comfortable.
I know. I was excited when I was like, ooh, I'm going to record a podcast with Nell. I get to wear my comfy, soft content strategy workshop shirt.
Right? Oh my gosh. More on that later. Yeah. No, I think that how you explained the workshop is perfect. And it's, and another thing that you touched on earlier that is so important. And even with, you're saying like you need a dictionary, you're at a loss for words today, and all these things and shenanigans and fun. And that's all part of the strategy. Because if there's anything that at least I have learned throughout this whole journey is people appreciate how authentic you are and
Yeah.
how human you are
Yes.
by proving that you are not perfect. And
Right.
content doesn't have to be perfect. It's not.
Right.
It's never gonna be.
Yeah.
You could hire the most expensive podcast editors or video editors or photographers. You could hire the best of the best of the best, and still it's not perfect.
Right.
And that's the important part. And starting messy. We had a new show on Sandcastle Radio debut yesterday, actually, on a Sunday,
Yep.
and it's called the Blue Boulevard.
Yeah.
And
I
it's all
loved it.
blues and soul. Yeah, it's like
Yes.
super cool. And this is one thing that we at Sandcastle are really good at doing is supporting each other through
Yes.
all of the ups and downs of live
Yep.
radio, because I
Yep.
still, to this day in my life, have not experienced anything like live radio. It's all about being live and being human and understanding that, when the music was on, oh, that was great. Like we heard everything,
Hmm.
sound was great. And then his mic was really low.
Yep.
And then you got into the chat and you said, hey, you know what? You got on the mic, you did what you did, and you started messy. And that's what you have to do.
Yes.
Start.
Yeah. Just start.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
Because if you don't start, right, you don't know what to measure the next thing against, right? Like you don't know where you want to go, right?
Exactly.
Like I remember when I had my first website, I had no idea. I didn't know what I wanted it to look like. I didn't really know who I was. I was, finding myself and my voice as a photographer. And I was like, I have no idea. And so I really relied on that person to kind of guide me. And I was like, here's the things, like make it look pretty. It was good. It was good enough to get started, messy.
Yeah.
And then, I grew and evolved and I was like, I want something different now. And like now I know. And so I am where I am.
Yeah. And you
Not
learned
like,
so much from that.
yeah, nothing is permanent. Like no decision is permanent.
No.
And so like I think people also need to know that,
Yeah.
that
Yeah.
you can change your mind. It's okay.
Oh, yeah. No, that's a really good point to bring up, because I think that people do think when they're first getting started with something, oh, this has to be perfect because this is going to be the way that it looks forever.
Yeah.
And that's just not the case. I mean, hello, that's why there's this term called rebranding.
Yeah.
which is a perfect segue into talking about what you do and how you help people create content through photography. So tell us more about that and what you do.
Yeah. So my main jam in photography is I do headshots and also branding. Sometimes people don't necessarily understand the branding, or they think that that the branding photography is not for them because they think that it's for like a bigger business or a corporation, right? Like they don't think that, yeah, it's for small businesses and mom and pop shops, So, and speaking in terms of the branding, that could range from anything like using the photos for an updated website, a blog post, email marketing, social media content. If you're on YouTube, you need a YouTube thumbnail.
Yeah.
So things like that. An email signature, right? Like that's, a really good one too. So there's multiple ways that the photos can be used. And I love working with small business owners because I am one, especially solopreneurs, because I understand what it's like to wear all the hats in your business and the struggles, and getting started and building something out of nothing. Like I get all that. So those are the kinds of people that I like to work with.
Yeah, I love that. And I feel the same way about small businesses. We are a small business too, even though I don't necessarily consider myself a solopreneur, because my husband Kenny is very involved in the business, even though he has a full-time job. But he's helped me a lot with like the accounting portion of the business, which I never really thought as a creative person that I would actually enjoy. And I do a little bit. I mean, QuickBooks is still not my favorite software in the world. Don't hate me for that, QuickBooks. I love you too. I really do. You do a great job. Sponsor me, please. But there's a lot that you learn. And I think that one of the biggest things that I've learned on the journey is after talking to so many different entrepreneurs and business owners that everybody does things differently. And when you
Mm-hmm.
say that people think branding isn't for them,
Right.
I think you're right. There's a lot of people that are, oh yeah, I don't need branding headshots because, I'm not that big, or I don't people that, let's speak in terms of where do you want to go?
Where do I want to go on vacation? No, I'm
No,
just kidding.
I mean like, yeah, well, I mean, of course, but like where doing branding for your future and where do you want to go? And that's why you need
Right.
branding
Right.
and professionalism. And,
Sure.
although here we
Right.
are
Yeah.
with professionalism, but I don't know if we're the poster children for
Yeah.
that, but
Yeah. So like it's there's been studies that have shown that people that use selfies all the time, and if you're a business owner, like you could potentially be perceived as being self-centered.
ooh,
Yeah. So
yeah,
it's really important because, right, if you're not showing your hands, right, or
yeah,
if it looks like a selfie, then, you know, that's what people are going to think it is.
yeah,
So it really is important to establish, invest. And I don't want people to look at having branding photography as an expense. I want
hmm,
people to look at branding photography as an investment in them and their business.
for sure.
And, you know, just moving forward, it helps to level you up. It sets you apart from somebody else who might be in your market doing the same thing or relatively the same thing. It sets you apart. It gives you that opportunity
Mhm.
to do that and to
Yeah.
be able to share your story about your business in a different way.
Yeah, absolutely agreed. And I feel that same way with video too,
Mhm.
because,
Yeah.
you can go out and take all the phone footage that you want to, and you should. I think, you can do that. That's great.
Sure.
And there's a time and place to invest
Yep.
in professional videography. But when you do a profile video for your small business where
Mhm.
you can have, B-roll footage of what you're doing behind the scenes, and you can have good clear audio and good lighting, and show yourself in the best light. And I always say this, video is the next best thing to seeing somebody in person.
Yep.
So people are able to connect with you as a person through that video without you being right there in front of them.
Correct.
And I think that sets you apart from somebody that's, and it's interesting that you bring up the selfie thing with being perceived as selfish, because all small business owners make plenty of mistakes.
Yes.
For our vlog, Kenny and Nell on YouTube, one time Kenny was exploring the idea of paid ads on social media.
Oh.
And he chose basically a selfie that we took
Oh.
and put it out there. Oh, this is a great example.
Okay. I had no idea.
Yeah, no, because I wiped that down real quick because I was like, you chose this. So it was a photo of us, living our best lives in like a pool or something. It was a selfie that we had taken, and he was just advertising our YouTube channel. And the wording that he chose was great. And somebody commented on it and said, "Who do you think you are?"
Oh,
Yeah.
ouch.
Who are you to think that you can put this random photo of yourselves in a pool having
Oh,
fun and putting this out there and asking people to go watch your channel? It was a paragraph long, and I'll be
oh,
honest, I blocked a lot of it out because it was hurtful, because
sure.
I knew our intent behind it,
Right.
but what that person saw wasn't the same, didn't
Thing.
view our intent the same way that we did. And it was at that moment, I think I actually realized, you can't just be posting random photos like this
Yeah.
for paid ads, because people associate paid ads with business and
Yeah.
professionalism.
Sure.
And that's what you need branding photos for.
Amen. And video. And video.
Exactly. And video. It's just, yeah, there's a perception around how serious you are and how passionate you are about your business, that correlates directly to professional photo and video.
A professional photo and video is like peanut butter and jelly.
Oh, I love that so much. There's the vision in my head of like the breads with the arms, and they're like together, the peanut butter and jelly.
I remember a song. It was from Sharon Lois and Bram's Elephant Show, right? And they used to sing a song about peanut butter and jelly.
Is it peanut butter jelly time? No.
Peanut butter jelly.
Anybody that's listening to this, can you imagine in person? Come to the workshop, August 14th.
Yeah, it's gonna be fun. Oh, and you get lunch too. I think I didn't mention that either.
Yeah, we'll definitely do the whole rundown of everything to expect. But yeah, for sure, well, there is lunch. The cost is $20 a person, which basically, I mean, it covers your lunch and
covers lunch.
the knowledge for the day.
Yep.
But so yeah, I wanted to touch on too, like how people can connect to find out more about the workshop. We've got a Facebook group and all of that fun stuff. So tell us more about how people can find us and connect.
Sure. So yeah, so like Nell said, we have a Facebook group, and I think if they just search the content strategy workshop, people should find it, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
I'll also have a link in the show notes too.
Yeah. And then we do have a website, which has a fairly long name that I'm not 100% sure of the order of the thing.
It's I think it's the content strategy workshop.godaddysites.com.
So this is our version of starting messy.
Yes.
See, we're living it, right? Like we're living
right there
it.
with you.
So, yeah, I think, is that all the places that we have? I can't remember now.
Yeah. And there's places on the website too to connect with us. I think if you're at the top of the website, you've got this beautiful photo taken with some confetti and fun. And there's a box, there's a link that you can click to find out more about the event. So that basically will get you on the list to hear all the event details. And then we'll send out an actual official registration link to you through that email that you'll get in the coming weeks. And then if you scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll learn more about us, what you can expect. And then you can also sign up for a newsletter, basically, with more content tips and ideas, things like that. If you're not fully ready to commit, or you're just on the fence and deciding about the event, that's just a great place to get some extra resources too.
Absolutely. Yeah.
So
we just want to bring a lot of value to people,
Yeah. We want to share what we've learned and bring that value. And the Facebook group is also a perfect place to connect with other people and do virtual networking and find out more tips and things. So it's kind of like the best of both worlds, and you can interact a little bit more there. So that'll be fun. But yeah, the actual details for the workshop, Wednesday, August 14th at Kelly Johnson Photography Studios in Mount Joy, Pennsylvania. Super beautiful area, easy to get to.
Plenty of parking.
Included. Plenty of parking.
It's like parking in a parking lot, so no one has to have anxiety about parallel parking.
Yeah, no parallel parking.
That's something I always ask whenever I go somewhere.
Really?
It's like one of my first questions is, what's the parking like? Because if I have to parallel park, like I want to mentally prepare myself, like for what side of the street I need to be on, because I can parallel park like one way better than the other.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, that's good. It's funny because I honestly feel more comfortable parallel parking and Kenny makes fun of me all the time for pulling into like parking spaces and like grocery store and stuff. I cannot pull in straight to a parking space to save my life. But I grew up having to parallel park. And so I really even if it's like a busy street or anything, and on both sides, one of my best friends lives in downtown Baltimore, and you have to park on either side of the street, and it's super tiny and small and everything. And I'm just like, boop. Kenny's like, are you kidding me? He's like, you can't pull into a grocery store, but you can do that. And I'm like, yeah, it's just all in what you're used to.
Right.
But
Right.
yeah, we'll have all of the parking information in an
Yes.
email. We promise you.
Promise. Yes.
But yeah, lunch is included, $20 a person.
Yep.
The time it's from 11 a.m. to 1 p.m. And it's going to be an awesome day. So
Absolutely.
plan that time on your calendar.
Right.
Yeah.
That's right. Mark it off now. Register
Yeah.
for
Do
the
all
newsletter,
things.
for the event. Yeah. Join the
Yeah.
group, all the things.
All the things. So before we do wrap up, because this is an episode of What the Nell.
This was so I've been a guest before, but this was my first solo
Is this
time.
your first solo one?
Yes. Yes.
Oh my gosh.
I was on with
Oh.
the man, the myth, the legend, Steve Trott.
Yes.
And I
the
hope
myth
Steve
legend.
hears this.
I hope
because
so too.
That's how I have him in my phone. The man, the myth, the legend.
No way. That's so great.
Dude, I totally do.
This is a test. Steve, if you're listening, let us know you listened.
This is a test of the What the Nell broadcast system.
Oh, that's great. Oh, I love it. Yeah. Oh, well, okay. So I'm really grateful that you're here for your first solo
Sure.
guest
Yeah.
experience.
Thank you for having me, Nell.
Well, you know that this is what this means. We have to
I know.
have a What the Nell experience
Oh,
as
boy.
told by Kelly Johnson.
So I have been thinking about this all weekend because when I was on before, I told my bird story. So I was like, dang, I can't tell that one again. It's like,
I do remember that.
what am I going to talk about? So I didn't really know until this morning. And I went to my computer and I opened up my computer and I was like, dang, girl, you got a lot of tabs open. And I counted them. And I was like, 72 tabs.
No, you did not.
I do. I was like, what the?
What?
I didn't say no. I said, something else. I was like, oh, but this is good. This is what I can tap my way. Who has 72 tabs open on their computer? I don't know.
Okay, so honestly, like Kenny will see 4 tabs open on mine and he'll be like, how do you have all these tabs open? I'm like, 4 tabs, it's a light day for you. No, but here's the thing, right? 72. I legitimately think in the back of my mind, I thought that there was like a limit on how many tabs you could have open, that you would get like some sort of error message.
Maybe there
that
should be.
Ma'am, you're trying to do too much. Think about this.
Pump the brakes on the tabs, girl.
Wait, hold on. I have questions. I have so many questions. Where do they all fit? And do you see icons? Like, how do they?
They're like,
But how do you know where to click?
why you go like that? I squint.
Gosh.
No.
Oh, wow.
I can see them. And here's the funny thing. It's like some I have opened twice.
Oh my gosh. Okay. Here's my next question.
I have 3 emails. So I have all my emails open. And then I have all my like some of them I've done different things in like Google Drive. So I have some of those things open. Right.
Yeah.
Like I know.
Oh my gosh. So how do you have, okay, so here's the other thing.
I think this should be a whole other podcast.
We have so many conversations. You guys can only imagine where we're like, oh, we should do a podcast on this. Oh, we should do that. Oh, maybe we should just actually start a podcast. But okay. On my computer, when I'm working in Final Cut Pro, which is my video editing software that I use, I get notifications all the time that I need to force quit applications because I'm using too much RAM. Okay.
Yes.
So how on earth do you still have RAM available with 72 tabs open?
I was like, oh, please, Jesus, just don't let anything bad happen today.
You pray to the tech gods every morning?
Just let me be able to keep all my tabs open because I can't close any.
I don't know. I feel like I need a new nickname for you.
Here's a thought. Maybe I should bookmark them.
Yeah.
I mean, I really have bookmarked them, but like There's just some things like like I'm researching something about vacation. So I have some of those tabs open. Like I don't want to forget where I was, right?
I get that. I hear it. I hear it.
So yeah, I try to close some of those like programs like Final Cut Pro or Lightroom, like I try to close them when I'm not using them. And so that, yeah.
So you can have all your tabs open. I think
yeah.
that your new name to me is going to be Tabitha. Your new name is Tabitha.
That's funny.
This is now the content strategy workshop with Tabitha and Nell.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. Yeah. I don't know. I'd be curious to know if there's other listeners out there that have like how many tabs they have open.
Yeah, I would love to know if you're watching this on YouTube.
Yeah.
Please, in the comments, let us know how many tabs you've had open at one time.
At one time.
Or how many normally do, or what. I want to know. I feel like the tab situation is very personal for everyone.
Yeah.
So we want to know who does what with their tabs, their browser tabs. Oh my gosh. Well, Kelly, thank you for coming on and sharing that personal information with us about your internet tabs, but also sharing with us about why we're passionate about content creation and how we can help people and all the details about the content strategy workshop. I think it's going to be amazing. And if anybody is wondering, even though we've mentioned it in the actual episode, all of the links will be in the show notes in this episode. So, and then we'll break it down, all the things for this podcast, and we'll share them in our group and things so you know where to go with your content.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me, Nell. It's been fun.
Absolutely, as always. And thank you everyone for listening. Make sure you like and subscribe on YouTube and subscribe to the podcast. Leave us a review. That's how we are able to grow here at the What the Nell podcast. Thanks for listening. And as always, I will catch you on the next one.
To learn more about how to tell your story, connect with Nell at enTICEingmedia.com. That's enTICEingmedia.com. Thanks for listening to the What the Nell podcast.